Okay, let's dive in. If you're working in a company that's growing fast, you definitely know that feeling, right? That constant pull between needing to move super quickly and also kind of hoping the foundations you're building aren't just, quicksand.
Yeah.
Complexity just explodes. Everything feels urgent.
Oh, absolutely. Thoughtful design often just gets pushed aside.
Yeah.
And then, boom, you look around and you've got systems that were built in isolation. Nothing really connects. And making the next change feels almost impossible.
It's like building roads after the houses are already there.
Exactly. Just plop down with no plan for traffic flow or utilities.
Right. So today we're doing a deep dive into a concept that might offer a path through that mess, the architect's mindset, and
Yeah.
specifically how it applies in revenue operations or RevOps.
Yeah, we're looking at insights from an article series that approaches RevOps using system thinking,
Yeah.
understanding how all the pieces fit and interact. This piece really zooms in on how that kind of architectural view helps you design systems that can adapt and scale, not just fight today's fires.
Yeah. Okay, so our mission here is to unpack what this mindset really is and maybe more importantly, why it's so critical. Why it goes way beyond just the tactical stuff, especially when growth is the main goal. So, this architect's mindset, where do we start? What is it
Yeah.
fundamentally?
Well, what's interesting, the source emphasizes it's not really about the specific platforms like your CRM or whatever. It's about the people.
Yeah.
People who can actually think in systems.
Okay.
Think about the difference. You have builders, right? They focus on tasks to get this done.
Yeah.
And you have operators optimizing what's here now.
Right.
Make this process better.
Right. Very tactical, very focused on the how of the immediate problem.
Exactly. But the architect, they're looking at the whole blueprint. They see the interconnections, people, process, tech, data, all of it. They understand the trade-offs they're making. It's not just solving today's issue. It's about designing how the whole system needs to evolve intentionally.
So holding that big picture, but also being able to dive into the weeds when needed and bridging that gap between the high-level strategy and, well, the operational reality.
No.
Designing systems that are resilient.
Precisely. And the core question changes. The source puts it nicely. An architect doesn't just ask, how do we automate this specific task? They ask, okay, what are we fundamentally trying to achieve long-term, sustainably? And how should this entire interconnected system be designed to support that, even when things inevitably change? That shift in perspective is huge.
I get the concept. It makes sense. But in a fast-growth company, the pressure is always now, now, now. How does this architect approach stop people from just, grabbing the duct tape? Doesn't architecture feel slow?
Well, that's the irony. That urgency, if you don't have architectural thinking, pretty much guarantees fragmentation down the road. It's almost inevitable. You end up with tools that don't integrate, teams pulling in different directions because their incentives aren't aligned.
Yeah, or contradictory data telling you opposite things.
Exactly. Or metrics that keep everyone busy but don't actually tie back to the strategic goals. It feels fast, but it's chaotic.
So chaos masquerading as speed. I like that.
That's a good way to put it. The RevOps architects, the system thinkers, they bring the discipline. They actually map out the go-to-market flow end to end, find the friction points, they design feedback loops, simple ways for teams to communicate, learnings, sales telling product, marketing understanding, lead quality issues. It embeds learning. And they push for modular systems so you can upgrade or change parts without a total system meltdown.
That makes sense because so much RevOps work does feel tactical day to day, implementing a new field, cleaning data, building a report. And the source warns that if that work isn't guided by some core design principles, you're just building up technical debt, right?
Absolutely. And that's where these design principles become key. It's not about building rigid control systems. Architects favor clarity over control. Make it understandable, make it adaptable. Another one is minimum viable structure. So just enough process for consistency, but leaving room for flexibility where it's needed. Avoid over-engineering.
Okay, so less like building a rigid cage, more like providing a clear, strong framework to operate within.
Yes, exactly. They also focus on feedback-oriented design building in ways for the system itself to surface information, to learn quickly. And maybe the toughest one, strategic constraint. Really having the discipline to say no sometimes, no to adding complexity, even if a new tool looks tempting in isolation. Does it fit the architecture?
That takes foresight. It sounds like it's about designing an organization that doesn't just execute tasks, but is fundamentally built to learn and adapt over time.
That's the bigger picture, yeah. The source suggests this mindset is really a blueprint for organizational intelligence, a company's ability to learn, adapt, and consciously shape its own systems for the long haul. And it's just so critical for RevOps because, Well, RevOps sits right at that crossroads, information coordination change across the whole go-to-market function.
Okay, so wrapping it up, this architect's mindset in RevOps really pushes us beyond just reactive tactical fixes. It's about strategic, systemic design built for growth and adaptation.
Right. And I think understanding this perspective, even if you're not in RevOps, can help you see the underlying structures in your own work, see where that kind of intentional design could really make a difference.
And the source kind of leaves us with this provocative idea that
Yeah.
this mindset is what enables RevOps to become a true translator between executive strategy and on-the-ground operational reality. What does that kind of high-stakes translation actually look like day to day? Definitely something to mull over.